Good to go. So as you're coming in, a like is going to go a long way. And also, let me know where you're listening from. That would be amazing. We're looking at over 100 lead generation strategies. So we're going to go for it today. So this is one of those longer videos. So make sure that you bookmark this or save this to come back to it later if you can't finish it in one sitting, because it is going to be a longer video. But we're going to be as comprehensive as we possibly can with the strategies that we're outlining. So I'll show you a visual aid. It's going to be in the entire list, and we'll just talk through all of the strategies that we want to cover today. Again, over 100 real estate lead generation strategies that we're going to get to today. So as you have questions as we get going, please feel free to drop them down in the chat. I want to make sure that we get to as many as possible, because this is for you, right? So these are the things that I've seen be successful, so I just want to share them with you. All right. So quick reminder, as you're coming in, a like is going to go a long way. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop it down in the chat. All right. So I'm looking here, and I don't see my streaming software working. Oh, there I do. Cool. All right, so let's get going, and let's go into the over 100 real estate lead generation strategies. We're going to get to them get through them as quickly as possible, but also as succinctly as possible, and really open up topics where they need to be open. So as you're coming in, make sure that you let me know where you're listening from, and as you have questions, please ask them. All right, so here we go. How can I zoom in a little bit more? I want you to see everything. Can I do this? I should have probably. Okay, so I don't know if I can zoom in further. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. All right. So I just put myself right there, and we'll get going. No time to delay. All right, so let's go through several quick things. Let's talk about what the categories mean. I listed every single strategy out here. So you're going to have the category on the left-hand side, and you're going to see the campaign type, or basically the strategy. You're going to see that here, and we're going to scroll down and cover all of them in detail. But first, let's understand what we're even talking about. I broke them down into category so as to make it easier to understand. All right, so first, there's an optimizer strategy, which we'll come back to this over and over again, but I just want to give you a brief pass through of the categories for the moment. We have the optimizer. So when I say optimizer, I mean it's typically a strategy, or it's typically an action that helps you with branding. It helps increase conversion. I misspelled conversion. So it helps you with conversion. And usually this type of task or strategy or item, which we'll cover here, is paired up with another strategy. So you'll see some examples, so it'll make more sense. But that's the optimizer category. The market expert and authority. This is marketing expert and authority. What this means is generally a marketing strategy where you are positioning yourself to speak as an expert, which effectively you're speaking from authority. That's what you're looking to accomplish there. All right. And then we have the marketing and prospecting. So as the name suggests, there's a marketing, it can be seen as a marketing strategy or a prospecting strategy. Marketing is more, well, we'll go right into it. Marketing is more reactive, meaning when you're out there marketing, building your brand, you're hoping somebody reacts, somebody reaches out to you because of that marketing. So you're putting out all these advertisements into the world. Hopefully somebody comes to you, right? So that's you marketing, that's you screaming through the rooftops, hey, I am a real estate agent and I would love to have you use me as your next real estate agent. And then prospecting is you're out there prospecting, you're being more proactive, and generally you're expecting to get quicker results. So prospecting can be seen more for now business. Marketing can be seen more for later business. You're expecting somebody to take action because you exist, because you place that position in front of them. And we'll go through them here in a little bit. All right. So as you're coming in, please feel free to comment down below if you have any questions. We're gonna really go for it and cover as many as possible. Now, what's pretty interesting about this, just a little bit of a backstory, what you're seeing on the screen right now, what's funny with it is that that's something that I created, I would say the first week that I got into real estate, like from an active, like I want to be a real estate, I want to get real estate clients. I wrote down the entire list. And what's funny as I was preparing for this particular live stream was a lot of them I didn't end up doing. And then what I also noticed is that some of them, looking at them now, they made more sense than ever. And I wish I had done them. So this was more of an exercise that I did of just listing out what's everything that's at my disposal. What's every possible way that I could generate business. And that was about, this document was originally created, I would say 2000 and it must have been March of 2017 or so. Because that's when I got my license. So, we're approved anyway. So looking at this now is pretty interesting because, it immediately takes me back to my office when I was creating that. And it also lets me know, hey, there were some things here that I didn't know because I wasn't in the industry. I just gotten into the industry, so I didn't know what I didn't know. And what's interesting is adding the additional strategies that we're using right now, and a lot of the agents that work with me are using. Adding those to the mix was pretty cool. Even though I thought back in the day, I have the entire list, I have everything I could possibly need. Found out how deficient that list was. So that was interesting. But let's get back to it. All right, so we won't really touch the categories too much. It's these are very fluid at the end of the day. So we'll just go into the strategy, the type, the task, the campaign that you can launch. Billboards are still obviously there. You're still, when you're driving, you see billboards everywhere. The pros and cons is that the pros is that you reach a mass amount of people. The cons is that it's incredibly expensive, right? So you have people that to really be successful with billboards, it's really more of a marketing play, if you will. Although I did categorize that as marketing and prospecting, but billboards is something that you can absolutely do, except it's just so capital intensive. It depends on the traffic. It depends on how long you plan to have the traffic of how many people literally drive by the billboard. So it's very geographically based. And also, it also depends on how long you plan to have the billboard for. So prices vary. I personally wouldn't invest in the billboards unless you already have a massive business and are looking for ways to really saturate the market that you're in. So it would make sense there. But I would look for creative opportunities with billboards. There's a lot of opportunities out there, more towards the rural area, but there are some landowners, there are some people that you could pay to put not necessarily an entire billboard, but you can put out a big, almost commercial size marketing piece, commercial size sign, if you will. It's like a oversized yard sign that you can get creative and pay somebody for you to place that on somebody's property. So you can get creative in that sense. You're not advertising that the property is for sale. You're just advertising, hey, I'm a real estate agent in the community. So you can get creative and get very fortunate with that. Blog commenting. So this is commenting. Blogging will make another appearance shortly, but blog commenting, you're commenting on other people's posts, blogs. I wouldn't suggest commenting on other agents' blogs per se. The strategy was more designed to illustrate was commenting on verticals, or I would say verticals on real estate related topics, but not necessarily your competition, because they're either going to block you, they'll never approve the post, or it's just in bad taste, right? So if somebody is on somebody's blog and you're commenting for the hope of it bringing somebody's attention to your stuff, that can be in bad taste. However, if you're going and commenting on an inspector's blog, if you're going and commenting on a lender's blog, that's totally okay. Now, this strategy, we're going to go ahead and add it here, which on the previous version was here. I don't know why it's not there, but you can do the same strategy with YouTube. So here, what you're doing is you're marketing yourself to a certain extent, and you're also prospecting, given that when you're commenting, you're leveraging somebody else's traffic, whether it's on a blog or on YouTube, so they can start checking you out. Because it's very easy to click, especially on YouTube, click on somebody's comment and click on somebody's profile and immediately be routed to that other individual's content or profile. All right, so another strategy is buyer and seller gifts. A lot of you are not doing gifts, which when it comes to gifts, I really have 3 criteria. It's something that, one, you're going to show appreciation. So with client gifts, you're showing appreciation. 2, you have utility, meaning it's something that they can actually use and leverage for their everyday use, whether it's a buyer or a seller. And then 3, it brings business back to you, right? So it's something that buyer gifts or seller gifts are meant to be referral pieces. So as an example, if you gift a custom doormat, right? Well, it shows appreciation. Hey, thanks so much for using me on your home purchase. It has utility. So when somebody moves, they'll generally toss out the old floor mat, or at least that's been my experience, and they'll purchase a new one. So you can actually do that as a favor for your clients. So they will actually use it and benefit, and it's branded to them. So it's not branded to you. It's something that will allow you to stay top of mind. And then that's the whole goal. So people remember where it came from. Another example would be gifting custom paintings of a home. So you can go over on Etsy, pay $125 for a custom portrait, which will allow which will show appreciation, which would have utility, so they can place it as part of the decor. And then also it'll be a referral piece, because all of the guests that they have over for the housewarming party, or anytime they have friends over, they're going to notice that, hey, that is a custom painting. That is something that you can become a showpiece, can become a conversation starter. So buyer and seller gifts are awesome. Chamber of Commerce membership, this is more from the networking standpoint. So this is for those of you that love being out in the community. This is for those that love engaging and having conversations and just doing the happy hours, and that's your type of people. So that's the Chamber of Commerce membership will allow you to partake in the events that they have. Conferences, so tables and booths. You can sponsor conferences from either being a keynote vendor or being a vendor where you host a booth within their exhibition hall. So you can go to all types of conferences that will allow this type of marketing, especially from real estate agents. One that really makes a lot of sense is for those massive wedding event conferences, so those wedding conferences that they have, where it's just a bunch of vendors come into one place that are I haven't gotten married, so I can't give you examples, but it's giving you all the decisions that you need to make when a wedding comes aboard. So we have a really good, phenomenal agent, Della. Della actually owns a reception area, and she has conferences like this. Well, she'll invite vendors from the community to exhibit their stuff. So then people that are looking to get married, if you will, they have one place, they can go to one event and see, oh, okay, these people can do my X, these people can do my Y. So she provides that outlet. So Shout out Della, you're incredible. All right, so case later, I love that idea, Jaime. Well, I appreciate you. Appreciate you being here as you're coming in. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down below. But also, let me know which ones you're using. I'm curious. I want to know what you're using because this isn't an all encompassing list. I tried. I really do. I'm tapped out for ideas. So I'm curious to see if there's something that I missed. In contacting birthdays, holiday seasons, purchase anniversary, you know what? This is more. Every time I go through this list, I've gone through this list today probably 10 times in preparation for this. I see this more as an optimizer. So again, going back to helps you with branding, helps conversion, and it's usually paired with another strategy. So contacting, that's basically working your sphere of influence, contacting people on their birthdays, on holidays, on seasons, and then their purchase anniversary. So I see that more as an optimizer. It can be seen as a prospecting, it can be seen as a marketing, but I'm going to look at it more as an optimizer category. Direct mail. You can send out direct mail. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth here in farming, but direct mail, letters, postcards, really anything that you want to send that will effectively land on the somebody that's living in a home. They're either renters or they're owners. It's basically the two things that they're going to be. So the best return for your buck would be knowing who is in that home, knowing if there's renters in that home, or knowing if there's the actual owner, so owner occupied. And the reason that that's important is because you're able to separate your marketing, because you can't speak to a renter the same way that you speak to a landlord. There's different conflicting interests, right? So from a renter, they don't really care what the value of the property is because they're paying the rent, right? So from a homeowner, well, they do care about the value of the property because they might want to exit. So that's the biggest investment that you can make in knowing who actually lives in that home. So there's plenty of lists out there that are being sold for you. So a couple of bucks invested in identifying that is going to help you so you can separate your messaging, because with direct mail, you're not sending direct mail just once, you're sending it over and over and over again. That's how direct mail becomes effective, right? So it's that continual habitual reach out that makes the direct mail strategy even work. But what's cool is that if you can identify who homeowners are, boom, you have listings. And you can identify who the renters are, boom, you have buyers, right? So it's important to be able to speak to both of them, because you don't want to waste your money speaking two different languages. You want to optimize your direct mail if you're going to have any longevity with sending out direct mail pieces. Door hangers. Here, I would just recommend hiring somebody to go and place your door hangers indoors. So your hangers, they would just pay them a couple bucks an hour, not couple. When I say couple, I mean more than two, several bucks an hour, and they'll go out there and just put those door hangers out in the community so you don't have to. I don't see that as being the most effective use of your time, because that's going to be one strategy of several that you're deploying. But door hangers is still a strategy that you can explore. Email marketing, very similar to direct mail. There are a lot of email vendors out there. There's people that actually own the email lists, and then there's people that are email brokers. Yes, there is such a thing that will broker between who has a sizable email list and of quality. So they're the intermediary between the advertiser, somebody that wants to reach out to, in this case that you want to reach out to home buyers or home sellers. You can get with the broker, and the broker will secure a list for you, or you can go directly to the email owners. With email marketing, again, what's important is to understand who is actually the owner of the email, because that's going to help you tailor the message. So if you have an email list of only homeowners, well, you're going to speak to them differently than an email list of only people that have bad credit, right? So if you secure a list of people that have bad credit, well, speak to them about improving their credit. Right? So that only makes sense. And there's a list of any kind. There's so many lists out there. So you're going to want to do some quick Google researching. With email marketing, what I can tell you, though, is if you have the option, depending on who you go with, between you sending the email or them sending the email, I encourage you to allow them to send the email and report back the results. The reason being is because you can purchase all of these lists from the internet and try to send them out yourself. That's a great way to get banned. So there was an agent down in Austin who was looking to join our group. He wanted to do, he had purchased an email list of like 20,000 agents in his market. So yeah, he was targeting agents for his mortgage business, and he wanted to send a cold email to every single one of them. What's a bad play? Because if he would have sent that email from his domain, that domain would have gotten blacklisted. So very soon, all of the emails that would go out, they would all land in the junk folder, so nobody would watch them or nobody would open them, right? So be careful with email marketing. It sounds very awesome, very great to email blast, but what you need to be cognizant of is that those will get flagged. So there are, again, going back to those brokers and those people that dedicate their entire livelihood to sending emails, they have their servers, they have all of the back end ready to go. So allow them to send 1,000, 10,000, 50,000 emails on their end, right? Because you can easily get flagged. Events. All right, so now we're talking about events right here. Let's see, you can see that, right? Events. You have the formal, you have fun, you have appreciation events. Here's just throwing events. What we need to understand with events is that it costs money, right? So when you're doing events, it's important that you capture as many emails up front. Let's do this. Every once in a while, I'll go back to this so you can kind of see it. All right, so the next one is events. It's important to understand that with events, regardless of which events you're doing, it's gonna take some capital investment. So you need to be playing events for the long game. You can't just bank on, I'm gonna do one event and see how it goes. No, I encourage you to make events part of your strategy and continue doing them for 3 events, 5 events, 6 events. Track the results from the events. Don't just let it be one event, because it's going to take you a lot of energy, time, money, and everything to get one event going. I don't want you to let that go to waste, because your second event is going to be so much easier. So if you spent all of this money, all of this capital, all of this whatever, just seeing if it's going to work, and if it was your first time, it might not go well that first time, and then you give up. Well, I don't want you to have spent those $5,000, $10,000, $30,000 to put that event together and not see it through. So it's important to create an email list in preparation for the event, so you continue sending email reminders. And it's also very important that you have more events to back up that one event, because again, you want to give it a good opportunity to work or not work. But then also track the results. Track the results. How many of my clients that I ended up working with came from the event, right? So you want to be able to track. All right, so every time I put this event on, boom, I get 5 clients. So I'm going to get better at making those 5 events. Team Usman. Hi, hello. I work in Dubai. I'm having a hard time finding leads, bro, nowadays. Well, you're in the right room. You're in the right video. So I appreciate you being here. We're going to cover over 100 strategies. So I appreciate you being here. All right, so next strategy is farming. Farming financially, and we'll cover these two together. So I'll show you real quick. Farming financially and farming geographically. That's what we're covering right now. Now, when I say farming financially, I mean farming an area that has the GCI that you require, right? So going in and seeing which areas are either affluent or have a high turnover rate or whatever. Just basically going in and farming from a GCI perspective. How much gross commission income is coming out of these neighborhoods, right? So you can go to, I live here in south of Fort Worth. Mira Vista is a luxury area. So there the homes are $2 million, $5 million, $20 million. Well, the GCI coming out of those places is astronomical. But I also know one real estate agent that works that area, she has over 70% of the listings. It's going to be hard to break into that neighborhood. I don't know what her affiliation is. I just know that she goes and makes a lot of money from that Mira Vista because she has all the listings. So looking at your farm financially, seeing how much money can I actually realistically pull out of this neighborhood, right? So there's that type of farming. The other type of farming is farming geographically. And that's just picking a spot that you're going to dominate. Come heck or high water. I don't care about the finance. I don't care about the whatever. I'm just going to work because this is really very close to my neighborhood, or it's actually my neighborhood. So I am going to work this. So I'll give you an example. Here where I presently live, I own 2 properties, brand new builds. Well, they were at the time. About 2 years ago is when I started investing in this community. Here in this community, although the oldest home here is probably 4 years old when they started selling this community. In the last, I would say, what would I say? In the last 3 months or so, there's not that many homes. In the last 3 months or so, I've seen 30 formerly new build. So some of these homeowners haven't lived in this home, in this community for longer than 2 years on average. There's been 30 or 40 sales from this community. So the turnover is incredibly high. Why is that? I don't know. But maybe that says more about the neighborhood of where it's going. But the opportunity, the house that I'm in right now, bought it brand new. It's appreciated like crazy. The house down the street, 2 blocks down that way, that I own, went incredibly high. Another one 2 homes over, that's the one that my brother bought. So that one's gone incredibly high. But anyway, going back to the geography, where you want to farm geographically, that's up to you. So there, you're not really considering GCI. That's the reason I'm including the farming in 2 separate areas. It's because 2 different strategies. You're gonna ultimately, you expect different outcomes, but it's just 2 different perspectives on how you want to approach that lead generation, right? All right, so flyers, this is more of a optimizer. I'll go back here as a quick reminder. As we're looking at the categories, we have the optimizer category, which helps with branding, helps conversion, usually paired with another strategy. Marketing as market expert authority. So this type of category we'll get to in a little bit, so I'll bring that up. But I just wanted to show you what the optimizer is and why I changed it. So flyers is a modality. It's just a tool that you can use, similar to, say, use a CRM, right? So flyers, I wanted included here because it's just more of an optimizer, and you'll see a lot of different optimizers coming up that I want to be as comprehensive as possible with our time together. All right, industry memberships. So this is let's start with Zillow and then Realtor and Homes and Trulia. So industry memberships, you can become a member either by purchasing zip codes, or you can update your profiles on these websites that are in the industry, meaning real estate. So you can be members of these, and then you can also be members of Curbed, Hot Pads, Apartment Guide, and Hot Pads. Oops, this is on here twice. And what this is are basically homes, websites that you can advertise, that people that are looking at these types of homes or these types of websites, they're generally renters. So that is your community, not your community. That is your audience on those websites. But you can pay for promotion on these websites. You can pay for promotion on these websites. You can have, to my understanding, you can have actual profiles on some of these websites that are up here. These I know that you can have profiles on. So when I say industry memberships, I separated them out because this is speaking more towards the people that are renting, so that community, so you can advertise there. And then the industry memberships for Zillow, Realtor, and Homes.com and Trulia, that is what we all know to purchase leads, right? So regardless of how you feel about purchasing leads or not, understand that that's a strategy that a lot of agents are using successfully and making a lot of money in. And as we're talking about non-industry online profiles, Google and Yelp and some other minor ones you can get on Yahoo, you can get on MSN, you can get on several other non-industry online profiles and a lot of smaller ones, but here just wanted to highlight the two major ones that are not industry specific. So you can have a profile such as Google My Business here with Google, and you can have a profile on Yelp. Same way as you can have a profile on Zillow, same way that you can have a profile on Realtor.com and Truly and all that fun stuff. Except the difference is that these are non-industry specific and these are industry specific, which is real estate. All right. And then this is more of a strategy of, I would say this is more of an optimizer. So I've gone through this list 10 times today and I flip-flop back and forth. Probably next time that I do it, I'll change these back. But you can offer free home valuations. That is this again is a reminder, the optimizer helps with branding, helps conversion, is usually paired with another strategy. So here, the reason I switched it to optimizer is because you're offering free home valuations. Well, now is the question, well, how am I going to deliver these free home valuations? You can direct message somebody, you can send them via mail, you can call, you can email, you can do whatever, right? So offering free home valuations is a fantastic way, especially at the beginning of the year, to start conversations, because at the beginning of the year, people are going to start getting those, the value of their home in the mail. So it's their responsibility to start protesting, or people that just got into their home, they'll need to claim their homestead exemption if they're at a state that they can claim them in, right? So offering free home valuations is something that you can do. If you want to pair this up with offer to protest taxes, we'll put property taxes, not just taxes. And then also we'll do homestead exemptions. All right, so those are optimizers. All right, so marketing expert authority. So here what we're conveying is it's a marketing strategy. You're speaking as the expert and you're speaking from authority. Blogging. Oh, where were we? All right, so we have this right here. Blogging. Blogging is something that I got into last year, and it's been super. I think last year, 8 conversions from it, like actual conversions signed to deliver. And I just started last year. So blogging is a fantastic way for you that are excellent writers, or if you're not an excellent writer, hire somebody that is. Blogging allows you to prospect and market your business while you're not there. So blogging, somebody can be reading your blog in the middle of the night and really jive with what you're saying and give you their contact information. So that's really the important part, making content that is valuable, making content that people actually want to read, but also allowing people to give you their contact information. So you want people to know what it is that you want from them. Meaning, if they're reading one of your blogs, give them an opportunity to get a hold of you. Give them an opportunity to claim something of value. So you can offer a lead magnet or something of value that they will find valuable in exchange for their contact information. So you can offer a list of homes. You can offer a home buyer blueprint. You can offer a seller checklist. You can offer whatever it is that you offer. Make those opportunities available. So whenever you write your blog, include a link to that lead magnet. Let's just say you wanted to offer a list of homes under $500,000. Well, you can create that list on your MLS. It's a pre-saved list, which will give you a URL. And then you can create a landing page if you have CRMs like KV Core, Market Leader, any CRM basically that is worth their weight in salt, or they're worth their weight in gold. I think that's the correct way to say it. Well, any one of those will allow you to create a landing page that you can ask for the name or ask for their contact information. And then over here, once they give you their contact information, you're able to deliver the URL. So you need a mechanism that will allow people to give you their contact information. You also need a mechanism that will automatically send the whatever it is that you offered. So for those of you that don't have a CRM that allows you to do that, you can use something simple like Aweber. Aweber is an email autoresponder, but they do have landing pages that you can create. Many of the things that you see down here on the description, which now would be a great time to subscribe, many of them you can actually see Aweber links down below. So as far as my technology goes, I have Aweber for my email autoresponder. For the real estate part of my business, I have KB Core because of the brokerage that I'm with, which is eXp Realty. If you're interested in having that conversation and how we use all these strategies effectively with different agents, then let me know. There's going to be a link down below. We can check that out. But anyway, so blogging, that's a fantastic way for you to grow your business. Now, let's get back to it. Facebook pages. So Facebook pages, think of it as really any business profile. So I know this says Facebook pages, but in reality, it should say social media pages from a business perspective. So Facebook pages is one that allows you to create a page to have almost like a website. It's almost as expected as a website is. Now, here's the thing. Remember the origin story of this entire list. This page was much more important back when this original list that I created was created, which is 2017. Back then, you could actually have a reach from your Facebook pages. Now you cannot. Now, anytime you have people like your page, you better hope that the Facebook algorithm likes you to show your post to at least a fraction, at least 2% of your people that like you on Facebook. So the reason that you want the Facebook page now is because you want to be able to launch Facebook ads. That's really the only reason. But that is another strategy that you can deploy, which is going to lead to Facebook ads. But I had to include Facebook pages as its own thing because let's make it a little bit more pronounced. Business pages. All right, so magazines and articles. So being in magazines, that's still a thing. You can be a contributor to a magazine that allows you to speak from a place of authority and a place from being seen as the expert. Same thing with newspapers. You can be a contributor to a newspaper. Now, when I say magazines or newspapers, use the ones that makes sense to the people that you want to target. So if you're going to, let's say, teen magazine as an example, well, that's not necessarily the target audience. So just be cognizant of the magazines that you're actually targeting, the newspapers that you're targeting, and same thing with radios. Well, maybe not as much radio, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. I have seen you in the EXP world, and I appreciate what you bring to us. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Radio interviews. Radio interviews and television interviews, those are, again, you're being seen as it says a marketing strategy. You're being seen as the expert. You're speaking from a place of authority. So these two, the only way that I would say be cognizant of kind of where you go on when it comes to radio stations or televisions is really more of a language thing. So I have a good friend, Matt Velasquez, shout out Matt, in Houston, who owns a radio station, which is awesome, right? And he speaks mostly to the Hispanic community. So that would be a radio station that I would go on because I can speak Spanish. Now, I obviously speak English as well, so I can go to other English-speaking radio stations and have radio interviews there. But again, it's an overall strategy that allows you to speak from a place of being an expert and authority. Television interviews. So there is a lot of opportunity here, both of these, because they need experts from the real estate lens, especially, I was about to say especially now, especially all the time. They need to interpret what's happening in the real estate community. So they've, who was it? Was it Forbes? Going back to the magazine, Bloomberg. Bloomberg is what it was. Bloomberg did a write-up on my good friend Javier Vidania, a good friend of the channel, and that he was speaking from a place of authority. That's pretty awesome, right? So I think it's Bloomberg. I'll need to check that out later, but it's something that these are undervalued right now because we think that we don't have something to say, we don't think of to do this, if you will, doing an outreach. It's an opportunity if you're willing to work it. Now, what's also an opportunity in you have the platform that you get to create from scratch is YouTube videos. So YouTube right here, right now, you can speak from a place of authority. You can speak as an expert. The challenge with YouTube is one that you're building the audience. Now, YouTube will help you because there's a lot of traffic here, and the algorithm will help you reach more people. But at the same time, it's an audience that you are building, right? Over here on television and radio and newspapers and magazines, well, they already have their audience. So you're instantly tapping into the thousands or hundreds or millions of people that already follow. So that is an opportunity for you regardless. So YouTube, I love YouTube. We've had a lot of videos about YouTube and how to get started there. So I'm not going to cover it too much in length, but what I love about YouTube, for one, is that it's video. So you can hear me, you can see my mannerisms, you can see pretty much kind of where I'm coming from in a vastly different way than what you would be able to read, right? So video is just a phenomenal way to build relationship very, very quickly, but also YouTube allows you to create content that gets seen 24/7. So while you're out there working, while you're out there doing something else, YouTube is working for you. You allowed yourself to be duplicated and replicated and leverage yourself so you're out there in the eye, right? And then company partnership education. This one was pretty cool. So this is one that I have to give credit to where credit is due, although he won't appreciate it. And I am talking about you, Chris Martin, not the singer, the much less known Chris Martin that works at Bell Helicopter. I probably should not have said where he works, but he's somebody that he shared with me that there is a little flyer that was real estate agents that were going doing presentations at the place that he worked. And as I thought back, wow, that is a really good strategy. Going to a place, the place of employment where there's generally high incomes, speaking to it's engineers. The bulk of them are engineers, so it's speaking to that type of audience. It's almost like professional LinkedIn, but in person. So going and speaking to those individuals that were engineers that generally have a high income and have a different. Anyway, I won't get into the stereotypical engineers, but you can see that there's some commonalities. So with what the real estate agents were doing was there was a real estate agent and then there was a lender that did a presentation specifically for the company employees. So you can do that partnership as well. Now, you would need to find the right company. You would need to do the right value proposition. But at the end of the day, you're speaking to 30, 40, 80 people in one room that you generally know that they're high income earners. And if you do a good enough job, you get invited back and you get invited back and you get invited back. So there you're tapping into a company's resources. It's almost, it's like you're, again, like a professional LinkedIn place where you didn't have to create the company. You're just going in and doing a presentation. You can do, and you'll actually see this strategy here coming up in a little bit. You can do home buyer seminars all day long, but there you're on your own. There you're trying to bring people to you. Here, if you partner up with the company, one of the bigger companies out there, or bigger companies generally will absolutely love to have you. If you partner up with those companies, well, they already have the audience. They're just looking for something to bring value to their employees. So that's what's up. But anyway, shout out, Chris. Don't ever say that I never did anything for you. I'm acknowledging where that idea came from. Airport advertising. I used to travel so much back in the day, so this was a lot more relevant back when I created this. But Airport advertising, you can still advertise in pretty much anything you want. You can advertise in the airplane magazines. You can advertise in, I was about to say the runways, but no, you can't. Not in the runways, but there's a lot of signage in the airport that you absolutely can advertise in, and it's a great way to get your name out there. Now that I treat it really like a billboard, because that would be a little bit, it's going to cost a little bit more money. And there you're looking for saturation. There you're looking, it's almost an optimizer strategy. You're not looking to lead with airport advertising. Same way as, give you an example, I could realistically have put, you can advertise in the Super Bowl. No, you can't. No, you can't. You're not going to spend $3 million to advertise in the Super Bowl. But I could have done that. I didn't, but I could have put that. But, the reason I bring up the Super Bowl is because you have the Coca-Colas of the world, the Pepsis of the world, the Fords of the world, the Chevrolets of the world. It's almost as a status thing. It's almost like, well, we're just going to advertise here. It's expected of us, kind of. And also, there's really no qualifier how much business this is bringing me. I'm Coca-Cola. I'm the #1 known brand in the world. I don't know how much of our audiences come or how much of our purchases come because we advertise in the Super Bowl, but we're going to be there. I treat airport advertising the same way. I treat billboard the same way. I want to encourage you as a real estate agent to start with these strategies. It's more of a, again, I'm kind of toying between being a optimizer or categorizing it differently, but airport advertising is still a thing. Banner ads. You can buy banner ads pretty much on any website that you want. Whether it's a website that has Google AdSense, so they're called display ads. You can have a display ad on any website that is on the partner, on the Google Partners list, which they have millions of websites on there. So you can advertise on those banner ads, which are what you see like, click now for X, Y, and Z. But even if they're not in that network, even if they're not on the Google network, you can actually pay an individual website creator, so the person that has their website, you can pay them money to post your own banner ad. Like, you can reach out to me, so JaimeResendiz.com if you want to check that out. I'm not going to sell you an ad, but you reach out to me and offer me X amount of money to have your ad show up on my website. You can absolutely do that. So let's start getting creative. Let's start looking at, all right, where is our audience going? Where are my home buyers going? Where are my home sellers going? As an example, this is loosely, I'll go ahead and say, I wouldn't even qualify it. I was about to give a bunch of qualifiers, but let's just say, think about where are people that are moving, where are they typically going? Well, they're typically going to U-Haul, right? U-Haul.com. Well, you can advertise via Google ads, via YouTube ads, which you'll see them on the list here in a little bit, but you can advertise on those websites. But you can also advertise on moving companies. So you can absolutely run display ads via Google ads and also do retargeting campaigns with, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with paid ads, but I don't want to make this a paid ads masterclass. I just want to give the idea of creativity to you. So with U-Haul, right? So you can run ads specifically to the people that visited that website. That is possible. You can go in there, you can YouTube how to do that. You'll probably find my video that I teach this strategy on, but you can absolutely do that. But also, if you go to those smaller moving companies, you can offer them money to have your ad, have a banner ad that redirects to you. So the reason you're reaching out to smaller companies is because nobody's really paying them anything. Nobody's really paying them because there's not enough value for the larger advertisers. But for you as a local real estate agent, well, you can pay that local mover down the street, hey, I see you're ranking incredibly well on Google. I see you're probably getting a couple thousand hits, several thousand hits. How about I pay you $50 a month to post my banner ad up there, and I'll get all the leads or whatever, people reach out to me, and I'll just pay you $50. So let's start getting creative. There's only because the market doesn't exist there now, you can create the market. You can advertise on the side of the bus. In reality, I could have combined these two, but we'll probably do that in the near future, combine the two. But you can advertise on the sides of the bus, and you can advertise on inside of the bus. Same thing with train stations and all that fun stuff. So these, we'll probably combine them. Don't worry, I have 120 something strategies, so the title is still in effect. There's over 100 strategies here that we're covering. The challenge here, I need to be very careful. The challenge here is when you're advertising on the bus as an example, or the train, it really depends on where you are in the world, really. Because if you're generally on the bus, you're not necessarily speaking to a target audience that's ready, willing, and able to buy on the spot. Or not that that's the only people that you should advertise to, but just be mindful of who you're actually reaching. So if you're running ads or purchasing ads inside of the bus, or the stop at the benches, the stop benches, or the whatever you call them, just be mindful of the clientele. And yes, I understand that people that, it depends on what part of the country you're in. It also depends on what trains they are, or what buses they are, or what shuttles they are. Because sometimes it could be somebody that is being shuttled from the Dallas Mavericks game down to Uptown. Well, if you're going in between those two areas, well, Uptown is quite affluent. So you have a lot of renters there, but they're paying rents in the $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. So just be mindful of that. A buying and seller guide, that's more of an optimizer. So all of you should have a buying and selling guide, if nothing else, just to save you time in your buying and selling explanation. So your buyer and seller consultations. Car washes. This is pretty cool because I wonder if it'll show up. Yeah, it will show up here in a little bit. Car washes, there's more and more drive-through car washes. Well, a lot of the car washes sell marketing in the entrance. So you can actually pay to have your billboard, if you will, just your sign up there, that you're a real estate agent. And car washes see hundreds of people every single day, depending on the weather. But it's a concentrated funnel, if you will, right? So also think about the consumer. So, generally cars, you have to have enough money for a car. You have to have enough money for insurance. You have to have enough money for gas right now. You have to see car washing, which if we really think about it is a luxury. Some people see it as a necessity. I have started seeing it as a necessity because I'm pretentious now. But when it comes to car washes, some people see it as a necessity and they'll go in there religiously, right? So there's that marketing play. Now, again, this is one of those strategies that, similar to the airport advertising and billboards, I don't want you to start here. That's more of a saturation point. So car washes is a great to continue. It's great to continue building your branding, continue that marketing piece for your business. Chamber of Commerce sponsorship. You can sponsor Chamber of Commerce events, toy drives, I already said events, toy drives, donation events that they have, or donation drives, whatever they happen to do. You can sponsor that. The lunches, the dinners, the events, all that fun stuff. Church bulletins. Church bulletins are, I was looking at my church bulletin just, what was it, last week? There's like 4 pages of ads. So it's just full of real estate agents. It's full of insurance agents. It's full of a local Mexican restaurant. So I thought that was pretty comical. It's like, you're either an insurance agent, you're either a Mexican restaurant, or you're either a real estate agent. So I thought that was pretty comical. However, again, that's eyes on the prize, right? So a lot of people like to support local. So make sure that you're there. Craigslist. I have a really good Craigslist marketing strategy on YouTube. So you're going to want to check out how to do that. But effectively, Craigslist is still a phenomenal way for you to receive leads, because there's a lot of people there. There's a lot of people there that will ultimately Wade Pena. Yeah, I'll ban the bot here in a little bit. I don't know how to do it while we're here, so I saw that in the comment section, so I'll make sure that I ban that one. Alrighty, so Craigslist. Just go. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. It's just a phenomenal way to generate business through Craigslist, because people that are generally on Craigslist, they're super intentional. They're out here searching for something to buy. So it's don't sleep on Craigslist. It's still super effective. Dry cleaning bags. This is one that is near and dear to my heart, because a lot of people don't know this. I was purchasing a dry cleaner, but it just didn't happen. So I was very much so my previous in my previous career was in healthcare. So I was the chief operating officer of a network of compounding pharmacies. So when I exited that in 2016, my next venture was going to be in dry cleaning. Right? So I was driving all across Dallas-Fort Worth looking at the dry cleaners that were for sale. Some of them were just absolutely going to go out of business. And as I drive by them, I was like, thank goodness. Thank goodness I didn't buy that one. But dry cleaning is something that I like the business. I still ultimately want to add a dry cleaning business to my portfolio. There's something about it. I just like dry cleaning. But anyway, so with dry cleaning, you have to put the bag on to after you're through. Well, most of them will add a bag to your dry cleaning, the clear plastic bag, so you can purchase those bags, or you can offer to sponsor those bags to the owner, and the owner will gladly allow you to defer some of the costs that they have in exchange for that advertisement, right? So you can go to an owner and say, hey, I want to sponsor your next month's bags. How many do you need? I need 1 million. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to put my logo on them. Awesome. Great. That's something that I became really good friends with the owner of the dry cleaner that I had. He's since sold. I am a bit bummed he didn't come to me first, but he became a really good friend, and we were talking about this strategy, and it's something that I wish would have come to fruition, because I still need my dry cleaner. If you know of a good dry cleaner, that's it's got to be local. I'm not gonna buy out of state, because I want to use it. If you know of a dry cleaner that's up for sale, that's reasonable, let me know. I would absolutely love to get into that business. I love the plants. I love the drop-off locations. I just love dry cleaning. This is a dirty little secret of mine. I am honored that Justin Conico is in the house. Justin, what is up, my dude? So go check out his YouTube channel. He is a boss. He is a beast. I was about to say he's a beast from the East, but he's not from the East. He's from the North. So he's in Canada. So check him out. Love your instructionals, bro. Dude, you're amazing. Thank you, Justin. I was over here going all ham on dry cleaning, so we got to keep it moving. Appreciate you being here. Go check out his YouTube channel. Has a lot of phenomenal content that will help you. Super successful real estate agent. He is into everything. He is a media mogul. He's somebody that I admire quite a bit. So Justin is one of the real ones. Email newsletter. I would say this is more of a optimizer. As I think about it more and more, this is more of an optimizer. And I knew I was going to change it as soon as I got to this one. But an email newsletter is another form of email marketing. It's just more of a continuation of the conversation. So having an email newsletter is a great way to bring people in. It goes back to your blog strategy, right? You need to have something of value to offer. You need a promise of a solution. So as people are reading your blog and they find value in your blog, out independent of just letting them go on about their way on the internet, offer them a email newsletter or something of value that they can instantly get a win on, which will allow you to continue the conversation moving forward. So let's go into more storytelling as you're learning everything about me now. After I got out of the after I got out of the healthcare industry, so again, late 2016, in 2017, I was all about dry cleaning, as we clearly came to learn today. So I'll change the views for y'all right now. I was all about dry cleaning. So there I was looking for dry cleaning. And I quickly found out that there's business brokers in the industry, which means business brokers are people that help business owners sell their business. So think about what real estate agents do for homes. So helping residential homes sell. That's what business brokers are to businesses. But became very evident as I was reviewing all the P&Ls, as I was reviewing balance sheets, as I was doing due diligence, I must have reviewed, I'm trying not to exaggerate here, must have reviewed about 20 different dry cleaners like to purchase. Some of them were plants, some of them were drop-offs, some of them were multi-location. The largest one that I reviewed was one that they actually would not sell at the end of the day. It's a local one here, Dallas Fort Worth. They had about 10 locations at the time. Now they have more. I really wanted that one, but we just couldn't come up to a reasonable price in terms of my eyes. But because in my previous career in healthcare, I was helping purchase and sell pharmacies. I was helping start laboratories and sell laboratories, all that stuff. So I knew generally what was needed. But anyway, I digress. With the experience of me trying to purchase a dry cleaner, I realized that a lot of the business brokers suck. They just suck. There's no way to sugarcoat that. They just absolutely were dreadful. And I thought, well, why don't I have experience in buying and selling businesses. Why don't become one? Why don't I become one? Why don't I just become one, is what I told myself. So I Googled how to be a business broker. Turns out there's no license required. So you can actually help people sell their businesses without having a license, which depending on how you feel about licensures and the government regulation, all that stuff, I'll leave that up to you. But for my thing, it was like, I don't need a license, but I do need a license. I don't need a license to help business owners sell their businesses and collect 10% commission, because that's a standard rate. Collect 10% commission, but I do need a license to be a real estate agent. That's weird. So I got into the business brokerage business. I opened up my own business brokerage and I help business owners sell. But what's funny is, and this is actually how I became a real estate agent, coming full circle. What's funny is that I quickly found out that in order to sell commercial real estate, I didn't know this at the time, you needed a real estate license. So then you had me in the real estate school, trying to get my real estate license super quickly, because that was a big fail on my part. I didn't know that. So if I was going to be a business broker, well, you're either generally going to just sell the business, meaning you're just selling the cash flow of what's in that commercial building, or you're going to also be able to sell the commercial building. So in a transaction, a lot of it you're getting way more than you expected with these strategies. So I'll kind of wrap up. But anyway, so that's how I became a real estate agent. And so we were talking about the dry cleaning. We were talking about the newsletter. I don't know why I got on this topic. We were talking about email newsletter, offering something of value. That's what we were talking about. So I need to rewatch this and see how this got off the rails. But email newsletters. That's something that you need to offer something of value in order to continue the conversation. Email signatures. Email signatures are often overlooked. And I say that because I get emails that just end with thanks, or I get emails that just end with sent from iPhone. If that's you, you're wasting a huge opportunity. It's your very own personal billboard. You can optimize your email signature to sell without selling. Meaning you can put get your list of homes under $500,000 in your email signature, or you can put search for homes now. Search for off-market properties now. You can have those opportunities on all of your emails, because every time you send out an email, it goes out to somebody different. It could go out to your leads. It could be to past clients. It could be to vendors. It could be to your school, your teachers, your students, teachers, your principals, the HOA, whoever it happens to be. Email signatures is a great marketing opportunity so people can be reminded that, hey, this person is in real estate. Ciao, attract direct. Thanks for being here. All right, so as you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down below. We're really going for it today. We are exhausting all the strategies we possibly can when it comes to real estate lead generation. So real estate lead generation is something that I happen to do quite well, and I want to help you in every way that I can today. All right, so Facebook advertising, we know what that is, so we're going to continue going. The important thing with Facebook advertisement and Google Ads, so Google AdWords. See, this is, told you this was created in 2017. It's no longer AdWords, it's Google Ads. The important thing to recognize with these types of, for consistency, as you can see, I'm very into details. But anyway, so Facebook ads, Google ads, the important thing is to offer something of value in order to run ads effectively. I'll leave it at that. There's a lot of videos that I have on this channel that lets you know how to run ads, both for Facebook, for Google, and you're going to soon see YouTube ads along with Instagram ads. So we're going to breeze right through those. Grocery stores, you can still advertise on carts. You can advertise on receipts even. So go to your local grocery stores and see what type of exposure. Now, if you are learning, hey, you can actually advertise here. If you're learning that just right now, chances are that's probably not a good effective strategy for you, because you're just recognizing, oh, dang, this is a thing. So that means that you as a consumer, you missed it, right? So I want you to advertise in something that will help your business, and that you can I almost treat this, but not as much. I almost treat this as a car wash and as an airport strategy, because this is more, I wouldn't suggest starting here. This is more you saturating the community that you're in. So your neighborhood Kroger's or neighborhood Albertsons, if they're still in existence. I don't know if they went bankrupt. But anyway, grocery stores, you can be in the carts, you can be in their receipts and all that fun stuff. High school sports, there's so many different ways to market with high school sports. So here's what I'll do. I'll remove sports. I'll just put high school. There's a lot of benefits to advertising with your high school. So they have events continuously. They have drives continuously. They have donation drives or whatever they're called consistently. They have obviously sports, as you saw. They have departments that need funding. They have a lot of opportunity for you to invest in advertising, right? So I'll give you a strategy. People that are outside of my network, they don't know this. So what is in this coffee that I'm sharing a lot of personal stuff today? If I was ever going to make a what do you call it? An autobiography, this would probably be it. Because outside of this, I got nothing. I got nothing else to give you. Anyway, so with high school, the reason I like high school in particular is because there's a lot of opportunities for you to, what you should be seeing as an investment, but what the tax people are going to see as a donation. Now, I'm not giving you tax advice, just telling you how I see it. So I would see it as a donation, but the tax people can actually see it as a tax write-off, right? So I'll give you an example. You can fund anything you want. You can put your name on buildings. So in Texas Tech, they were making this. They were making the Catholic Student Association was making a incredible building that I wish I would have had the great pleasure of being a part of, in terms of when I was a student, studying there, doing community, doing everything there. But no, we had a less than stellar building back in the day. But anyway, so they were making that brand new beautiful building at Texas Tech. So the CSA is what it was called, and they were selling naming rights. So if you go to Texas Tech, shout out any Red Raiders out there, or if you go to Lubbock for whatever reason, you happen to stumble across the Catholic Student Association there, and you walk in, you can have a meeting in my conference room. So it's called the Jaime Resendiz conference room. So that's branding, that's business. That was obviously it was more from a, hey, I want to give back standpoint. I don't expect any business from that, but it's an opportunity, right? So same thing with your high school. For my high school, I have the JRB scholarship, which it originally started as the Echo scholarship. So my company was called Echo Real Estate Advisors back in the day. Ever since then, I have rebranded. But anyway, so you have Echo Real Estate. So it was called Echo Scholarship. So I would give a scholarship. I don't even remember what it is right now. I think it's $5,000. A scholarship to my high school every single year. So it's called Echo Scholarship. Then it was called JRB Scholarship, and now it's called Jaime Resendiz Scholarship. So it's a great way to give back. It's a great way to build brand. It's a great way to be in the community. Now, I live 5 hours away from where I graduated. Same for my university. So I can't really no one's going to reach out to me like, hey, help me buy a house in Petersburg. I wouldn't help them anyway, but because that's not where I'm at. However, it's an opportunity for you to build brand, build your business. So next time an opportunity comes up, there's a lot, I guess what I'm getting at is there's a lot better places for you to park gobs of money than spending it in needless stuff. You can give back, you can get the promotion, just get the exposure and be much more effective and be entrenched in the community by going down this route. So you're going to see local sponsorship and international sponsorship, or national sponsorship, not international, here very soon. But I just want to give you a different idea, because a lot of you are making a lot of money, and good for you. Not faulting you for that. I love the fact that you're having great success, but going back to where your roots were, that's a great way to give back and get immediate benefit from it as well. Because every single graduation, people are hearing your name and seeing how amazing you are, right? I'm not saying that I'm amazing, but I'm just giving you a representation of what you can achieve. Anyway, Instagram, we've talked about Instagram so often. Instagram ads, it's a different version. So Instagram, you go out there and advertise on your normal post, your reels, your stories. It's great for exposure. Instagram ads, we talk about them ad nauseum, so we're not going to cover them here. But Instagram ads, it's a way for you to promote your business to the masses. Super awesome. LinkedIn ads, same thing. LinkedIn, same thing. So with LinkedIn, you can start creating content specifically for these platforms and gain that exposure. So all this is marketing, right? So giving you different verticals or vehicles to use. Local charities, we already talked about that, but here you can advertise if you don't have the capital right now to sponsor from sponsorship level. So ads, don't worry about it. Sponsor with your time. There's a lot of people a lot of agents that sponsor with their time and are very, very effective at it and making a lot of money. Chrissy Malouf up in Denton, Texas, she does over 100 transactions every single year, and this is her pillar. She's just out in the community. So I don't know how she does everything, but she's doing this, she's doing that, volunteering here, volunteering that, and she's not out there pitching, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I'm here at your event that nobody else showed up to. I'm here to pick up some trash, so I better expect you to buy with me. She's not doing that, but people get to know people. People work with people that they like, right? So make sure that with these strategies, it's not a, hey, use this strategy and tell everybody that you're a real estate agent, and if they don't use you, they're dead to you. No, let's have sense. Let's have common sense. So these opportunities are a great way for you to network, great way to give back. There's a lot of opportunities for you to bridge passions with business, with all this stuff. So you can make this fun. You just need to find the strategy that'll work for you. Now, speaking of strategies, we're covering over 100 of them right now. it's not possible to do 100 of these. It's not possible to do 50 of these. It's not possible to do 10 of these correctly. I'll add that part. Whatever strategies you decide to go with them. I think it was, who was it? Was it Ray? Yeah, I think it was Ray in Arkansas. He did a talk in one of my summits, so the Agent First summits. If you want to RSVP, the link is down below. They happen every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central. So I bring in a real estate professional, Justin here, who commented. He's been on one of my on my Agent First summits. Absolutely crushed it. He's been on it twice, maybe 3 times actually. So he's really, really good at what he does. So make sure you check his channel out. But anyway, back to Ray. So Ray Ellen is a fantastic broker, owner, has several locations, sells hundreds of homes. He's just a phenomenal person, business, has incredible business acumen, realtor, just incredible. But anyway, he said he was talking about lead generation strategies, and effectively, I really endorse this message of every lead generation strategy works. It just depends on which lead generation strategy you work, right? So every single lead generation strategy works. The question is, which lead generation strategy will you work? That was so powerful to me when I heard it, and I wish I hadn't butchered it in the past 12 seconds that I shared that, but it's so true. All the strategies that you're seeing today, they're all going to work if you are in it long enough, if you go large enough, if you are persistent enough. But at the end of the day, there's some that work a lot quicker. There's some that work with years of time. There's some that might require over and over and over and over again, more repetition. But at the end of the day, you don't want to do just, all right, I've done my Instagram post. All right, so now I'm going to go and purchase dry cleaning bags. Now I'm going to go and do some magazine ads. Now I'm going to go and do advertise at the bus stop. Now I'm going to go and do X. If you're doing one of each, that's wrong. I'd much rather you do one 100 times than 100 one time, right? I would much rather you focus on one lead generation strategy 100 times, giving it 100 up at bats, as opposed to going one by one of these lead generation strategies and attempting it once, right? So that's really what I wanted to say there. I got a little bit preachy, but hopefully you can appreciate where we're coming from. I got lost. I don't remember where we're at, but LinkedIn ads, LinkedIn, same thing. Just having a presence and also paying for that presence if needed. Local charities, that's what we were talking about. Local sponsorships, same thing. Here with local sponsorships, you can sponsor anything you want. You can sponsor Little League. You can sponsor Girl Scouts. You can sponsor a local cleanup of the highway. You can sponsor whatever you want. That's up to you. Magazines, we talked about magazines. Where did that accent come from? We talked about magazines earlier, but magazines now from an advertisement perspective. So you can actually pay to be in these magazines. Now that's going to cost a little bit more money, and you need to find a way to track your conversions there, but just be mindful of it. And again, this isn't something I would necessarily start with, because I see that more as a saturation. You're looking to saturate the market that you're speaking to. It's not one that I would start with. National sponsorships. So what national sponsorships could look like is you're the partner of. The reason I included the national sponsorship is because there's a phenomenal, speaking of the Agent First Summit, Tuesdays 10 a.m. Central, RSVP down below, or just send me an email. The sponsorships are, at some point, there's a lot of you successful people out there. At some point, you can reach national partnerships, right? So we have a phenomenal speaker coming this Tuesday to the Agent First Summit. Not this Tuesday, next Tuesday. Whatever the 15th is. I don't know what day we're in. But the 15th, we have Rogers Healy, who, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you know what that name means. And also, even beyond Dallas-Fort Worth, you know what that name means. So Rogers Healy is somebody that is a phenomenal agent that sells $1 million homes. Like, and when I say $1 million, I don't mean just 1 million. I mean 10 million, 20 million, $50 million homes. That's his price point. But he's got a sponsorship with the Mavericks. So he's the official partner of the Dallas Mavericks. That's pretty cool. He's the official sponsor of the SMU. So Southern Methodist University. Southern Methodist University. That's what it is, SMU. So he's the partner of these. So people are paying a lot of money for this level of exposure, and he is as well. So that's how you're looking at these sponsorships that are at some point. I pray that all of y'all get to that level. I pray that I get to that level. But there's opportunities elsewhere. So I just don't want us to limit ourselves, because that's a great way to get out of the business, and just we'll leave it at that. Newspaper advertisement, same thing as magazines. You can advertise. In newspapers, but I wouldn't necessarily start there. Pinterest is a great SEO strategy. It's a great platform that gets millions and millions and millions of hits every single day. So if you can rank for those competitive keywords, best real estate agent in Dallas, top real estate agent near me, all this stuff is great for Pinterest. Podcast is what blogs are to the written form, and what YouTube is to the video form. Podcast is to the audio form. With podcasts, I love podcasts because you can talk about your passions. So with podcasting, it's a passive strategy. It's a later strategy where you're building your own audience. You're starting to you start to grow. It's a platform that you have to grow yourself. It's not necessarily one that you tap into and instantly you have an audience. Like YouTube, you can drop a video, and yes, you're building your organic audience, but any one of those videos can go viral. On the podcast, it's much more challenging. They're not gonna push you just because you had one podcast episode. There's a lot of dead podcasts out there that they created the podcast and never uploaded one episode. There's a lot of those out there, and there's a lot of more podcasts out there that uploaded once and are gone. But anyway, with podcasts, the reason I like them so much is because you don't only have to talk about real estate. There are real estate based podcasts and only talk about real estate. However, if you're focused on that part of your podcast, the downside is you're only talking about real estate, and real estate is very transactional, I guess, or transitory. I don't know what the word is. But basically, people that are looking to buy a home, once they purchase, for all intents and purposes, they're done. They're not going to go back and stay in tune with everything that they were reviewing prior to the purchase. Same thing with selling. I'm going to educate myself up until I sell. After I sell, boom, I'm gone. So the audience is very porous, if you will. They're just going to go. But if you create a podcast that has to do with your interests, so if you talk about golf, if you talk about knitting, if you talk about cooking, if you talk about X, Y, and Z, so you can create a podcast and an audience around your interests. So you're around like-minded people, you're around people that you enjoy, you're also around or communicating with the people that you enjoy, and you're also creating content that you're passionate about. So burnout is going to be much more challenging. And also the strategy there, though, is you're making content that you enjoy, and you're building a massive audience that comes back time and time again. At any point in time, they can come back to you time and time again. But the reason that it works so well, of you like specifically speaking to your passion, is because you're a podcast host that happens to do real estate. So you're the digital mayor, as Mr. Gary Vee likes to say. So you're the digital mayor, if you will. You're the podcaster that just happens to do real estate, right? So you're reaching hundreds, you're reaching thousands, you're reaching millions, depending on the size of your podcast, and you happen to do real estate. That's pretty powerful. All right, so press releases. It's these aren't as common anymore. A lot of fake influencers use them for more exposure, but you can do press releases whenever you want to make an announcement. It's very rare that press releases are actually authentic. You just see a lot of fake reviews for these influencers that are just trying to sell you courses. So I included them because I wanted to be as comprehensive. So if done correctly and you're not using them to be a sleaze bag, Press releases are cool. Radio commercials. So radio commercials is something that you can absolutely do. And when I say radio, you can use Sirius radio as well. It's up to you. Oh my goodness, it didn't make it. Dadgummit. 1 second. We're gonna have to backtrack. Told you every time I go through it, we get. All right, let's talk about sponsorships real quick. Well, let's close the radio commercials. Radio commercials, you can buy spots in the radio. I think a lot of you already know what those are. So when it comes to radio commercials, you can make it about your business, of course. It's basically advertising. This one is also very similar to the TV commercials. This is more of a saturation point. I wouldn't start here because it's expensive, because you have to do a sizable investment. But what's very undervalued right now is podcast sponsorship. So podcast sponsorships, if you don't have the time, don't care, don't want to approach the podcast strategy, you can be a sponsor in a podcast. You can be a guest on podcast, but you can sponsor podcasts where you're either in the podcast, like if it's an interview style podcast, you can pay to be in the podcast world and the conversation with the host or podcaster and talk about whatever the heck y'all want to talk about. You can pay for that exposure, but you could also pay for a podcast read. That's how podcasters actually make money. Unlike YouTube ads, so YouTube, there's the ads that you saw prior to this live stream, during this live stream, and after this live stream. Unlike those ads, you from a podcaster or podcasters, a better way of saying it. So the podcasters, they make money from sponsorships, right? So you have to have an audience at some point, so then you can sell the ads. So then a Toyota can come to you. That would be a massive. You have to have a massive following, but you can have local people, very similar to having a local or not as trafficked website. People that are speaking specifically to your audience, whether it's home buyers, whether it's home sellers, and they're a mortgage person, as an example. Well, you can purchase the ad read, or you can be on the podcast with the actual podcaster. That's a cool strategy that didn't exist back when I created this list in 2017. So I'm glad that we caught that together. Alrighty. So we got to come back to it. Podcast sponsorship. So, and this is something, let's go back. This is something a lot of you know, that I am part owners in Agently. So agently.com. So if you go to agently.com, so agently.com, it's my software company where we're doing some pretty cool stuff that's going to help you real estate agents. But it's not about Agently. What I want to share with you is break down that fourth wall of what a software company that's valued quite high right now. So we could easily exit the software space and be a-okay, but we're gonna make this massive. We're gonna make this 9 figures. So this is incredible. But anyway, one of our strategies is actually doing these podcast sponsorships, right? So we're going to those podcasters that you probably listen to. So the podcasters that that's podcasts or podcasters, I don't know how to say it. Let's just say podcast. These podcasts that are speaking to you real estate agents that already have that audience, that trust, that loyalty, and reaching out to those podcasters and offering to pay for an ad read. In some cases, I will go on and do give back to the community, and eventually Agently comes up. So that's one of our strategies, right? Same thing for you. That's something that you can absolutely do in your business. We have Ian Flanagan in the house. I appreciate you being on. Yeah, it does feel like a marathon. I don't know how long we've been going, but it feels like it's been a minute. All right, so we're over halfway through, so I appreciate a like. That's going to go a long way, and also we're going to keep it going. So we talked about press releases. We talked about radio commercials, search engine optimization. Search engine optimization is a fancy way, or the actual way of saying SEO. So search engine optimization is basically being found when somebody searches. That's what it is. So when somebody searches on Google, you want to be found, whether they redirect to your Instagram, whether your Facebook, your website, your YouTube channel. When somebody types in best real estate agent in Dallas, you want your name to show up, right? So that's SEO. So that's why you need to be building your own personal brand. You need to be building on an asset that you can control. And right now, an asset that you can control is a website. So you need to be working on that. Now, if somebody searches Jaime Resendiz, I don't care that they find my information, that they're going to find me on Instagram. You're going to find me on Facebook, on YouTube. That's cool. It's awesome that I'm found, but I'm not necessarily marketing to those people, because people that are actively searching for me, they're going to search for me and find me one way or another. I would much rather rank for those that are looking for best real estate coach, best real estate strategist, best realtor educator, whatever the heck people search for. I'd much rather rank for those, and so should you. So whenever somebody types in best realtor near me, you want your name to show up. You don't want people to specifically have to type out your name, because it's not going to help you. All right. Well, it will help you, but you know what I mean. You do want to have a presence. I'm not saying don't have a presence. What I'm saying is there is much more coveted real estate out there, and that is best realtor out there, or best realtor near me, top realtor in Dallas, top realtor in Fort Worth. You want your name to show up then. Social media page shout outs. So when I say social media page shout outs, you can advertise in Facebook groups. You can advertise via Instagram influencers. You can pay them $50, $1,000, $1 million if you're Kim Kardashian to post a paid sponsorship post and get millions and millions of people viewing that stuff, right? So there's a lot of money that you can generate from these influencers out there, from the people that have already captured the audience. Very similar to podcast sponsorship, people that have already captured that audience, that have gone through the work and built up their audience. They deserve to get paid. Not trying to sound entitled, but they're going through all of this effort. At some point, somebody's going to back up the truck and pay them. We saw that with Joe Rogan and Spotify, with over $100 million for exclusive rights for the 5 years or whatever. We saw that with the Call Her Daddy podcast. For those of you that are hearing that for the first time, that's exactly what it's called, Call Her Daddy podcast. $60 million from Spotify, I want to say. These people that build massive audiences that gain attention or are getting attention, they get buckets of money. And you know what? Good for them. I hope to be there very, very soon. All right, so that's social media shout outs. Television commercials, same thing as radio commercials, so we're not going to spend too much time there. Twitter, organic Twitter. You have a strategy in this channel that talks about how to get leads on Twitter, so I'm not going to cover it right now. Webinars, it's more of a, those home buyer webinars, those home seller webinars. What's cool now more than ever is that you can do these at scale from your living room or from your office. So you don't have to go out and purchase physical space, because these are webinars on the web. So you can do Zooms that will do a home buyer webinar, investments webinar, seller webinar, but generally you're going to see buyer webinars. Your website, we already talked about that to a certain extent with search engine optimization. So website, I would love for every single one of you to have a very powerful website that is personally branded to you. It speaks volumes and will help you build your business regardless of what business you happen to be in. White papers and ebooks, this is more, you know what? We got to correct this. This is more of a marketing expert and authority. Because here, you don't just do white papers to do white papers and stuff. So that's you speaking from a place of authority. So that's what we're talking about. So quick recap. We have the optimizer, that category that is really generally it's branding. It helps with conversion. It's usually paired with another strategy. We have a marketing, which you're speaking as an expert and speak from authority. We have marketing and prospecting, so it's kind of does both. It can be seen as marketing or it can be seen as prospecting. Marketing is you putting a message out there and hoping for a reaction, so it's reactive and it helps with branding. Prospecting is you're being proactive. I'm going to actively get you as a lead, right? So that's prospecting. So as I was looking at that, it just makes more sense to be a marketing expert authority category. All right, so marketing, yard signs. A lot of you take this for granted, but a lot of you get calls from the yard sign. so let's not sleep on these. And if you're really skimping out on the yard signs, I encourage you not to. So this is something that I would say that's I shouldn't be that bold, but it's one of the most, it's one of the highest ROIs that you can have. So as an example, my yard signs are $250 a pop, which for here is astronomical. And that's because they're custom sized, they're custom designed, and like they are some really cool yard signs. So when compared to the traditional, I think it's like what, the 18 by, forget what sizes they are. I used to have one here. I forget what the dimensions are. 20 by 30, I think. I don't know, but those short ones, if you compare those short ones with my custom Cat Daddy ones, like, get out of here. You're not gonna want to sell with that. Anyway, so yard signs, I like them a lot. YouTube ads, we already talked about them, so we're not gonna look too much into it. But YouTube ads, absolutely awesome. Well, you know what? We are gonna talk about it because there's a lot of people that get triggered, and I need to, as opposed to triggering them in that group, I'll trigger them here. For those of you agents that are getting so hot and bothered by people that are advertising on your YouTube channel, stop. Like, here's the thing. YouTube ads, that's what YouTube ads are. So I saw this I've continue seeing threads where agents are commenting about, hey, X, Y, and Z is marketing on my channel. One of my viewers just let me know that they saw an ad for X, Y, and Z person who's right down the street. Why the hell would they not? That's what YouTube ads are. Those are pre-rolls. So agents that advertise on other agents' channels, go for it. That's what YouTube ads are. You're paying money to hijack, to leverage, to be smart with your money because somebody else is already speaking to the audience that you want. As an advertiser, I have to work a hell of a lot harder than you as the actual original creator to lure that person away from you because you're the one that they went to go see. It's like, I don't know at what point people lost the script with YouTube ads, but it's not lost on me that I have a few other advertisers that are in my space, that are in my company, that are complete idiots that are running ads on my stuff. It's not lost on me. And that's okay. If you're here and you vibe with me, you what I'd say, well, I was about to say something else, but anyway, if you vibe and if you're finding value, cool, that's great. And if you want to work together in some capacity, awesome, that's great. But if somebody is spending money on my videos, well, guess what? I'm gonna get 55% of that revenue that they're spending anyway. Right? So if somebody uses their product, their service, or whatever, which most of the things that are being advertised for real estate are really not working, and that's where you can, every single one of these strategies, this one, however long as it ends up being, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long this is much better than any webinar that those people that you just saw coming into this live stream, there's much better than those webinars will ever be. So if you're going to go and spend $1,000, $2,000, that's you, right? So same thing with YouTube ads. YouTube ads is, again, for those agents that don't understand how advertising works and are getting triggered because other agents are advertising on your videos. My gosh, you have lost the script. Of course, that's what they would do. Same thing that you would do if you knew how to do it, right? So just seeing those groups. I wish I had the screenshot. Should I? No. It was in a. There's multiple people are doing this. I'm not going to call them out by name, and I'm also not going to highlight the group that they were complaining on because I actually value the group organizer. So we'll keep going. I don't know why I got triggered there, but I did. Sorry. All right, answer your phone. This is an optimizer. Answer your phone. It sounds obvious because it is, but we're still not doing it. Business cards. Everybody gets one. Every place that you go to gets one. Your boba shop, your coffee shop, your X, Y, and Z. Everywhere. Everyone gets a business card. Client testimonials. So we're in the optimizer stage, as you can see. Each one of these strategies, as a quick reminder, helps with branding, helps conversion, and is usually paired with another strategy. Business card. Client testimonials, which are a great way to accelerate somebody's trust in you. So if somebody else can vouch for you, especially on video, that does a lot. That does a lot. So make sure that you're getting client testimonials. IDX website. I used to believe in this a lot more, but if you have the IDX, which means it gives users the opportunity to search for homes on your website. If you have the IDX, cool. If not, I wouldn't spend money to go get it. Reason being is because people are not searching for properties on your website. They're searching for properties on Zillow. They're searching for properties on Realtor.com. They're searching for properties on Redfin because their platforms are so much better than yours. And mine. I'm not just pointing at you. So I don't believe in the IDX as much as I did back in the day, but it's there. In-office marketing signage. So again, it's an optimizer. If you have an office, start branding yourself. Start putting signage out there that reminds people what you're about, who you are, and how they get interesting programs that they didn't necessarily know existed. Landing and squeeze pages. This is, again, is an optimizer. It's more of a tool that you use to get people's information and give them whatever it is that you promise them. Letterheads. This is more of it's more of an optimizer. It's more of a marketing play. Quick reminder, helps for branding, helps conversion, pair with another. So having letterhead that is branded to you, it's almost just going back to like even this, right? So this is a branded play, agent first group. Similar style, right? So clothing serves the functionality standpoint because you need clothes, or else you're going to jail if you go out without them, and helps a way for you to market the brand. All right, so the way that I see that as far as clothes, I'd much rather have this logo than a Nike logo, than a Reebok logo. I'm not going to be a walking billboard for them. I want to be a walking billboard for me. So that's why these are inexpensive, $40. You get a high quality shirt with your stuff on there. So I even have branded shorts. So I have some shorts that have Jaime Resendiz on them. So some say it's egotistical, but I like putting my name everywhere. So that's me. Leverage wins. Again, this is an optimizer strategy. Make sure that you're letting people know that what's coming soon, what was just listed and what was just sold. Leverage those wins, especially when you're doing direct mail. All right, so you're letting people know that, hey, this property is coming on soon. This property was just listed. This property was just sold. Those are 3 touch points that you can send to your neighborhood. Live streams, you're seeing it right here. Live streams are phenomenal because live streams allow you to convey your message. And as soon as we're through with, just so you know kind of what I put to my Facebook group, our internal Facebook group, the Agent First group, I told them the exact strategy, and I'll tell you that right here. Live streams are phenomenal because we get to go through this once. And as soon as the live stream is over, it's going to take about a day to process on YouTube. And that's important because of all the other links that we're going to attach to this live stream. But we're going to be able to download this live stream. And then we're not going to download it with the intention of editing, because the editing's already been done. This doesn't need to go to my editor. This doesn't need to go anywhere. This has already been complete. The mistakes that I made them. Sorry. This is just a one-shot deal, right? Now, once we download this video, I'm going to go through about 3x speed, because I know what I said, or generally I know what I said. I'm going to go 3x speed and just go to Video Accelerator, type it on Google. It's a Chrome extension, so I can go 3x speed. So those of you in the comment section, oh, he's lying because the most you can do is 2x. No, you can go 3x. So I'll go 3x, and then important points that I find in this live stream, I'll be able to repurpose. So this one video, which turns out it's going to be probably 2 hours long, this one video is going to give me 10 pieces of content to drip out for the remainder of the week. I encourage you to do the same, right? So this is a great way for you to get into video. It's a great way to maximize your efforts. You can do this yourself. You don't need an editor. You don't need assistants. You don't need designers. Thankfully, I do. I don't need them, but thankfully I have them, so I'll be able to work on other projects. But for those of you that are not in the same position that I am, you can do this yourself, right? So these are a lot of practical strategies, and I like to pay as you've seen, like some of these things that individuals that have helped me get better. You've heard them be referenced here. The person that's really helped me with that has been Jas Thacker. He's fantastic at repurposing this strategy. The one I just mentioned to you is basically what he taught me. So go out and check out his channel. He's another amazing agent. He's out of Canada as well. So go check out his YouTube channel. It gives a lot of practical advice that helps out a ton of people, right? So there we go. I think I broke the live stream because I can't see the actual live count of how many people are here. So hopefully there's people here. Let me know if you're in the chat, because what I see on my Ecamm, which is the OBS version, what I see on Ecamm is really different than what I see from Restream. And when I go to YouTube, it's a completely different number as well. So hopefully some of you are here with me. If not, sorry. Cool. Mobile app, it's another optimizer. Again, so a mobile app is something that requires, it's more for branding. It helps convert and is, what was the third one? It's usually paired with another strategy. So the mobile app by itself won't generally move the needle. So you would need to go out there and push it. Open house signs. And I have the leaflets here, right? I thought I had leaflets. Yeah, yard leaflets. Well, they can be seen as the same. So let's do this. In all fairness, let's go signage, and we'll go signs. I love leaflets. I don't know why. It's one of those things that it's a weird thing, weird quirk, if you will. So open house signage. You can never have too much. You can never have too many signs. Now, the challenge is our budget, right? These do cost money. They don't cost that much money. You can go buy open house signs at the Home Depot. But if you're going to go 20, 30, 50, yeah, it's going to cost a little bit more money. However, open house signs are a phenomenal way to stand out, because not only are you drawing people's attention, but people actually notice them. If you are obnoxious with the signs, meaning they see one sign after another, after another, after another, you're becoming memorable, right? So the neighbors that are driving by the street, they're going to notice, like, dang, it's a lot of signs. Maybe I should write this agent's name down, because when I want to sell my house, I want that aggressivity. I want my agent to be that aggressive, right? I see you and the screen. Hey, thank you, Bridget. Oh, here you are. Great list of ideas. Thank you. Agent Jumpstart with Bridget. Y'all should go check that out. Another great, phenomenal YouTube channel that is well worth its weight in gold. So go check out Agent Jumpstart with Bridget. Abby, where have you been? Feel like you abandoned me. Where you been, Abby? Ever since I followed you on Instagram, you've ghosted me. Not cool. Thanks for being here. Saludos. Thanks so much. All right, let's do this. Presentation for folder, another optimizer. Again, branding, play. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, so we're gonna go right through these. Presentation folder, quarterly market updates. Again, one of those optimizers. Branding here, shirt, polos, suit pins, basically anything that you wear, right? So increases your branding, helps with conversion, and generally is paired with another strategy. So you can have all the shirt polos that are branded to you that you want, but unless you do a live stream like I'm doing that will reach thousands of people, or go out there and shake hands and kiss babies and all whatever you need to do, then it's not going to be worth it, right? So this has to be paired with something else. That's why it's in the optimizer category. And then surveys, very much the same thing. I like surveys because with ads, as an example, it's a great way to create engagement. It's a great way for people to participate in what's going on with your ad. And it's a gamified ad is effectively what's happening. So people don't feel sold. They know that they're being sold, but they don't feel as they're being sold, right? Perdón, studying for my exam. Well, best of luck. Best of luck, Abby. My bad. Just kidding. Thanks for being here. All right, so affiliation. This goes back to when this was created. Affiliation, just think of it as referral partners. Remember, this was created back in 2017. And yes, I did go through this about 10 different times this morning. But I wanted to share the story with you of when this was created. So if you missed it, go back to the beginning of the live stream. If you're just catching us now, of kind of when this was created, why it was created, and ultimately what worked and what didn't work. But affiliation, just think of it as referral partners, right? So that's what I mean by affiliation. So there's that affiliation, there's that referral partnership. So business bankers. Business bankers speak to a lot of business owners. Very good people to know. Divorce attorneys. Divorce attorneys speak to a lot of people that are getting divorced. So there you can look at 3 transactions. The house that needs to be sold, the house that the husband is buying, and the house that the former husband, and the house of the former wife that they're going to buy. So there you go. Divorce attorneys. That 1 turns into 3. Employers or employee benefits. This is almost in line with that company partnership that I mentioned, but basically it's using I should have combined this with relocation. Should I? It's basically the same strategy. You know what? In all fairness, we already talked about my friend Chris Martin that turned me on to this strategy. So for those of you that are wondering what I'm talking about, company partnership education. I don't know. I want to leave them, but then I don't. No. We'll be fair to this. We're going to delete it from here. And we're going to leave this as our strategy. So we'll be fair to it. So basically what I'm saying here is create a partnership with as many companies as you want. Doesn't mean you just need to go with one company. I mentioned to you, my friend Chris Martin and his company brought in a realtor and a lender that gave a home buyer presentation educating people how to purchase a home. So from a real estate agent perspective, that's phenomenal because you're speaking to people that are generally, these are a company of engineers basically, that are making some good money that could potentially be home buyers in the very near future. So there you go. That's what I mean by affiliation. Replace affiliation with a referral partners. Back then I didn't know what I didn't know. Home builders, new construction. I can never say enough good things about new construction. So as I mentioned, I have several investment properties that I bought brand new because I love new construction a lot from an investor standpoint, but also I like new construction from a real estate agent perspective because generally you do less work because the home rep typically does more. If it's a bit larger builder, you generally make more because they offer bonuses and incentives. And the product shows incredibly well. It's incredible to show a brand new home and you don't have to worry about any details. You can just go towards the final week and just blue tape everything and they'll fix it. It's phenomenal. Investors is another real estate lead generation strategy, which has a lot of referral opportunities. Lenders. So lenders is different than business bankers. Take note of that. But they're also a good opportunity for you to build your business. Wedding coordinators, phenomenal people to know. Phenomenal people to know. Wedding coordinators, or even do real estate on the side if you are a wedding coordinator. Relocation specialists, so having the employee benefits kind of conversation up here, but those companies that pay for relocation, having that in your back pocket. All right, so apartments and HOAs. The reason I put service here is people that actually service the business. So it would be your apartment managers that speak to the tenants, the people that are coming in, right? So when I say service, I mean people that actually service the business, right? So the apartment, the people that take in the applications, the people that do the leases, those people that know who's coming in and who's moving out, the people that get the notices that, hey, I'm leaving in 60 days, I'm leaving in 90 days, whatever. It's good to know those people because they can be phenomenal referral partners. And HOAs, here, knowing the people that are part of the HOA. So from HOA presidents know everybody. So I know that my HOA president, Jerome, he's always walking the neighborhood. Always. I almost feel like he's the police. He's the local police. Whenever Jerome's not here, I'll generally just do a rolling stop. So I'll just I'll drive carefully. I'm not trying to say that I'm reckless, but he knows my car because it's pretty pronounced here, and I'll just generally roll. Whenever he's not around, I just roll past the stop sign. But whenever he's around, I make it a purpose of stopping 3 to 5 seconds, and then I go, right? So he's got tight lockdown on this HOA. But anyway, what I'm saying here is from an HOA perspective, reaching out and even becoming part of the association is really good for you because you'll be in the know. Hey, so true. Hey, thanks so much. What is it? Marliam? Thanks for being here. All right, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner with influencers. All right, when I say influencers, I don't mean the social media influencers. I'm not saying go track down Khloe Kardashian or somebody. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is influencers in the community, right? I'm talking about people that are influential in the community. This could be we talked about a little bit about HOA presidents. Those are influencers in the community. Talking about the bank manager. Those are influential people in the community because they're generally having the business conversations or loan conversations with the local people. We're talking about principals. We're talking about those individuals that see a lot of people, right? That's what I'm talking about. Building proximity to those individuals is going to be very valuable. It's good to have a large network regardless. 1 second, I see our Facebook comment. Rose Dunn. Fantastic. Thanks for being here. Call center campaign. So you can hire call centers to prospect for you. That's always existed. Now, the cost is going to vary because a lot of it has to do where the calls are coming from. If they're from the US, if they're from a Latin American company, if they're from an Eastern company, or Eastern company, or Middle East company, wherever they happen to be, the call center calls are going to go out, but just to be completely transparent with you, no one's going to really be better than you at cold call. Even if you suck at calling, no one's going to be better than you because they don't have the interest that you do, right? So you can outsource and have people make millions of calls, but you're going to have a higher retention rate if you learn that skill set for yourself, because this is your livelihood. You outsourcing it to somebody else, they're getting paid for pennies. Let's just be honest. They're getting paid pennies to make that call. You have a different vested interest. The difference between you and $10,000 in commission is a phone call away. The difference between them and maybe a $20 bonus is a phone call away. There's radically different incentives. Call center campaigns know their place, know that that's an opportunity. It's something to maximize what you're doing. But as far as effectiveness, let's call a spade a spade. You really need this, right? This list is on point. I appreciate you, Abby. Thanks for being here. Jerome, you good? Yeah, he's good. He's a good man. Coffee over Zoom. Coffee over Zoom is one that my good friend, I actually have to remember his last name because I want to give him a full shout out. Ian Williams. He's a good friend, but I don't do well with last names. Ian Williams is the one that taught me this in terms of what to actually call it. Coffee over Zoom. He's the first person that I ever had coffee over Zoom with, or at least I knew what that was. So we connected. He's out of the Austin market, phenomenal agent. So coffee over Zoom is a great way to build your network and incredibly quickly in a non-threatening way. So at this point, even lenders, title companies, other agents, whatever, people that want to build proximity to me, they don't get an actual physical, not because I'm anything special, but because I just value my time a lot more now. So it takes a lot to remove me from my office, which is my home, and physically go meet you somewhere. You must really have something for me, or I must really like you. So if you're not part of my family, chances are you're not going to see me have lunch with you. I'm just being candid with you. But you will see me have coffee over Zoom, because there I can pop in for 30 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I'm out. Right? Anything beyond that's there's only so many hours in the day, and also there's so many things that I want to get accomplished. There's really not much time for distraction. So coffee over Zoom is a great way for you to meet a lot of people rapid fire. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on this strategy, because it's a great way to build proximity to people that you want to build proximity with. Cold calling, we talked about cold calling through the call campaign, but at the end of the day, cold calling is circle prospecting, calling FSBOs, calling expireds, calling people that have the need, that you know that they have the need. So FSBOs and expireds those are the people that have the need, and then circle prospecting as well. Well, circle prospecting is not necessarily having the need, but it's the people that you can call. Divorce records, being active with those, seeing who's getting divorces, track them down and call them. Door knocking, playing the numbers game, door knocking either a neighborhood that has the GCI that you want, or door knocking a neighborhood that is the neighborhood that you want. So it goes going back to the farm that we talked about here. See if I can find it real quick. Farming, you're either farming financially or you're farming geographically, right? So there are two different types of farms that you can do. All right, where are we? Expired list, we just talked about that through calling. You could do expired lists through calling, physically showing up and door knocking, doing direct mail. Facebook groups, either starting your own Facebook group or leveraging the groups that already have the audience that you want to speak to. Facebook Marketplace, post properties that you have for sale or properties that are available for sale. I suggest starting with new construction onto Facebook Marketplace. So there, people can see the inventory, if you will. People that are on Marketplace are looking to do something, and they'll reach out to you in the DMs. Facebook message, and I have the reason I'm going to go pretty fast on these is because I have a Facebook, and you know what? I'll have to change Meta. I'll change to Meta because we are there. So Meta Groups, Meta Marketplace, Meta Messenger. All right, so Meta Messenger, it's a great way to communicate. There you can actively prospect. So we brought up Agently a little while ago. So my software company, we have a task there specifically for Meta Messenger, which is basically a sprint of 30 minutes where the challenge is to connect with as many people via Meta Messenger as possible. So it's a great way to communicate, prospect, and grow your business. For sale by, I was going to finish the thought here. The reason I'm going quickly with these is because I already have this video that exhausts every strategy that you can think of when it comes to Meta, aka Facebook, for real estate. So go check that out. For sale by owners, you can call them, you can direct mail, you could email them if you have their email, you can drop by, right? Foreclosure, you can get foreclosure lists, or you can go down to the bank or the doorsteps and find those the homes that are coming up that are going to be sold in the auction block. That's available to you. We talked about local charities. You can pay to advertise with those local charities. Networking events. We talked about Chamber of Commerce, which is a type of network event, but there's a lot of networking events out there. There's actually, I'm trying to remember what that was called. I'm going to have to ask, Dave O'Donnell was actually the person that led me on to this. So he's an agent that's part of our group, the Agent First group. Dave O'Donnell out of Delaware, him and Sam, husband and wife, phenomenal agents that joined our group. He does networking quite well through a thing. I think it's called BNI. Does that sound right? Hopefully it is. I'll ask him if he can comment down below. But BNI networking events, that's basically just networking events of people that are in different industries and are working with each other, right? So they're either directly or somebody that they know. So it's kind of almost like a pod of business owners that are supporting each other. Is that community? So I want to say it's the BNI group. I could be completely quoting something different. So I need I'll ask Dave if he can comment down below to confirm that. But networking events, great way to grow your business. Online profile through Quora and online profile through Reddit. So these two, you can almost combine them, but they have different cultures. So Quora, you're going to want to Google what that is, but basically it's a place where people ask questions and answer questions. Reddit, it's a community very similar to Quora, where people are taking topics or are taking, it's just so Reddit culture. I've tried to get into it, but I always leave because I just haven't been successful in cracking the code. I use Reddit for research. I use Reddit to understand what people are searching for, what people are asking, what people are talking about. But as far as getting into the culture of being entrenched in it, I just fail every time. Maybe I'll dedicate more time to learn it, but I just haven't. Either way, this is a great way to connect with other people, have your online profile completed in each one of these, and be part of the culture. Open houses, by far one of the highest conversion rates that you can have. Open houses. So people, when you're hosting open houses, whether it's your open house or somebody else's open house or a listing for somebody else, open houses bring in people that at least have an interest in real estate. So if somebody is taking the time out of their day to go to open houses, there's generally a real estate transaction in the next 60 to 90 days. If it's anything beyond that, then there's the hobbyists. There's people that love wasting time that are just going to go into houses because they're open. Yeah, there's those people that exist. For the most part, you're going to find people that are actively searching, right? So open houses still one of the most, the highest conversion rates that you can have. Pay at close companies. You have OpCity, you have HomeLight, you have UpNest. So here, you don't pay up front. You don't pay what's called cost per lead, or pay per lead. You pay per close. So OpCity will send out leads and they'll track that lead until it comes close, and then you owe a referral percentage. So they all vary. So if you are cash on money, but rich in time, so if you have more time than money, then this might be a opportunity for you. Pay for leads. So lead companies, these are actual pay for leads. Well, you're paying $25, $50, $100, $1,000 per lead, depending on the strength of the lead, is what you can do. Seminar hosting, we talked slightly about that, but here seminar hosting is you doing it yourself, not necessarily through the company. So you're hosting seminars either with your title company, with your lender, with your brokerage, with yourself, whatever. Hosting seminars, these take a little bit of time to get off the ground because again, it's almost an event, except here, everyone that's coming to the event, there's a general understanding that they're looking for a buyer, a solution, selling solution, mostly buyer. Short sales. So a phenomenal resource is the Short Sales Queen, Nicole Espinoza. She has a YouTube channel, so go check her out. She was actually, again, another guest of the Agent First Summit. So if you have an RSVP to that, check it out below. If you want to have a conversation about becoming part of the Agent First group, then it is linked down below there as well. As you can see, we have a lot of valuable guests that know what the heck they're talking about, and you can have instant access to. Your sphere of influence, heavily underutilized strategy right now. So your sphere of influence, the way that you work your sphere of influence, or the way that I teach to work your sphere of influence, is not like you're going to hear elsewhere. How you hear that elsewhere is get your list of 100 people that are part of your sphere of influence, call them, tell them you're in real estate, and ask them to trust you with the largest financial asset that they own in their lives. Sure, the scripts that they give you don't exactly say that verbatim, but that's effectively what they're teaching. And that's not what I subscribe to. So your sphere of influence, they need to know who you're that you're a real estate agent, yes. But at the end of the day, you need to win their business just like everybody else. Simply because you married me, or well, maybe that's an example, that's a different example. Simply because you're my cousin, simply because you're my closest friend, simply because you're whatever, simply because you happen to be within my sphere, that you're a family member or a really close friend, doesn't give me the right to be your real estate agent. And nor should you be obligated to use me as your agent. I've had very close friends use other real estate agents because they just didn't believe in my capabilities. Okay. I've had really close friends that have used me because maybe they felt out of obligation, or maybe they saw the value that I brought. Who knows? Shout out Chris Martin. So one of my friends I was telling you about. So when it comes to your sphere of influence, how I teach it is bring value to your sphere. Don't expect them to use you. So when you're talking to your sphere of influence, bring something to the table for them. Offer a CMA. Offer advice that they can use. Offer something that they can run with, as opposed to, hey, I just got my real estate license, and are you thinking about buying or selling? Come on now. That's just, think about it the other way. Like how many of your friends that do hair are you getting your hair cut with? How many of the friends that do insurance for you, are you getting insurance policies from them? Right? How many people that manage money are managing your money? Yet we're expecting our sphere of influence to use us? Come on. Let's get out of here. Sphere of influence. Here's this simple exercise that I go with all of our agents. List out everyone that you would consider a sphere of influence. If they take your advice on, if you can give somebody movie advice, hey, go watch this movie, and they'll actually consider it and not say, who the heck are you? That's somebody within your sphere of influence. So write down everybody. Sort them by last name. So A through Z. That's 26 letters, right? 26 letters in the alphabet. And then when you start at the beginning of the month, let's just say you start this March 1st. Each day of the month, you're going to allocate to a letter. A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, D equals 4, E equals 5, right? So every first of the month, I'm going to call people that have a last name that starts with A. So Applewhite, Apple, Augustine, whatever. And then on my second days of the month, it's going to be the Brooks of the world, the Bernards of the world, last names. I don't know why I keep thinking with first names, but anyway, last names, whatever they happen to be, Brewington, right? And then so on and so forth. So for the first 26 days of the month, you're going to have a calling list. Day 27, day 28, day 29, 34. So consider those your off days, if you will. And then you're just going to cycle over and over again. Now, here's where a lot of people miss it. Sorry, this is going way longer than I thought. Appreciate everyone hanging in there. And if you can give me a like, that'd be great. And also, if you're not subscribed, 85% of you are not subscribed. That's crazy. So help me out. When it comes to the sphere of influence, once you go through all of that, right? So once you list out your sphere of influence, once you allocate the A's to ones, D's to fours, whatever. Once you have all that, here's what intimidates people. I don't want to call my sphere of influence every single week. What are we going to talk about? Every single month, or every single week, every single month, right? I don't want to call my, anyway, you're not calling your sphere of influence every single month. Every single month, they're going to hear from you twice, though. Like clockwork, January through December, they're going to get emails from you every single month. Minimum emails. I'm talking about emails. Now, how we break things up, though, is let's just say we start on March. On that first month that we're going to execute this strategy, we are going to direct message. So we're going to DM everyone in our sphere of influence. So whether they're on Facebook, whether they're on LinkedIn, whether they're on TikTok, whether they're on Instagram, wherever, we're going to DM them. So for the entire month of March, we're going to DM our entire sphere of influence. That's March. Come April. In April, we're going to call them. For the entire month of April, we're going to call. The following month, we're going to text. So that's May, right? So the entire month of May, we're texting everyone in our sphere of influence. The month after that, which is June, we're going to send them direct mail. So there's 5 modalities of getting a hold of them. 1, email, that's going to be a consistent forever and for always. Every single month, they're going to hear from you from an email. Depending on the month, they're going to hear from you in direct message, so DM. Depending on the month, they're going to hear from you from a phone call. Depending on the month, they're going to receive a text from you. And depending on the month, they're going to receive direct mail from you. That's it. That's the strategy. Right? So every single month, they hear from you twice. And you're not challenged with, oh, what am I going to say this time I call them? Well, if you look at it, on your call session, this is when you called. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Every quarter, not every quarter, if that's 4 months, every third year, they're going to receive a call from you. So you're going to be calling at most 3 times a year. And what's cool is that this is an excellent way for you to be organized, excellent way for you to get up and all right, I got to knock out my C's because it's the 3rd of the month. It's so effective from your end. One of the concerns that you're going to have is, what if they catch on? Who cares if they catch on that you're going to call them, that you're going to text them, that you're going to DM them the 3rd of the month? Who cares? Here's what's going to happen. Nobody's going to notice. And even if they did, who cares? Who cares? Who cares if they know, oh, it's going to be the 4th of the month. Jaime's going to call me. Okay. Doesn't matter. All right. Sphere of influence. Talk to people. Let's talk to people. Talk to more people. That's what a lead is. It's conversations. Very simple. Tax liens. We already talked a little bit about them, but there's a lot of tax liens out there, so you can actually purchase a list so you can help people before it's too late. And Craigslist. I have a phenomenal, this is on twice. Did I put this twice? Give me a second. Be a terrible way to end it. I feel like this is on twice. Yeah, it is. Well, you can use it as marketing or as prospecting, but I would much rather use it as, no, it is a marketing one. You're right. It's a marketing one. You know what? It could be seen as a marketing and prospecting, so that's what we're going to do. Awesome. All right, so I'm still fairly certain that I over 121 minus 5, 16, minus 7. Yeah, we're still over 100 strategies. Boom. All right, so these are all the strategies that I wanted to cover today. If I missed any, let me know in the comment section down below. If you are subscribed, thank you. Make sure that the notification bell is on. If you're not subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you did me a huge favor and subscribe. But more than anything, implement 1, 2, 3, 4 strategies, however many strategies that you can realistically execute on consistently. Select those strategies and execute on them consistently. So it does you no good of having all these strategies and attempting these once, because that is not going to move the needle in your business. What's going to really help you in your business is that consistent action. So choose some of these strategies. Let me know which ones you're using right now. Let me know which ones you're wanting to use in the future. But outside of that, hope you have